Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know we just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch, the spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip. Get it on down. Select to make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it on down. Select to make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know we just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch, the spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip. Get it on down. Select to make your first pick.
Yo, what is up? Chat, stream, whatever. Non-gaming academy students on break this fall. What is up? It is your boy GQ Asian Dude. That's been like my intro for the past like 4 years, probably longer than that. It's your boy GQ Asian Dude. And a lot of the times a lot of people thought that GQ, and I think at the time it did mean that, the origin of my username online. And the reason for that is because at the time I was like working for a men's clothing store, and one of the things that stuck out to me was the men's magazine GQ, Gentleman's Quarterly. And I this was like post PlayStation 2 era. You were making your characters online, like you were logging online for the first time, making your own accounts and stuff like that, like Xbox 360, World of Warcraft. Like this was the era, right? Just like we finally got gaming online, and now we have to create login names. And so I was like, it's not as clever as you think. So GQ for like what I did, because you spend a majority of your time at work. So GQ Asian Dude. And at the time, Asian was like AZN. A lot of like people like that had like Asian pride, they would use AZN in their clan name. So I just kind of did that. And dude is like DOOD, as in like, hey, what's up, dude? So Asian Dude, GQ Asian Dude. And eventually turned into Gamer Quotient Asian Dude, because that's clever. So anyway, if it's your first time here, guys, welcome to my channel. It is the headmaster of the Gaming Academy, but we're not doing Gaming Academy this week. This month we'll be back with normal podcast on around November. Let's see what date that is. November 4th we'll be back with the full staff, everybody here, Tragically Elite, Blazing Ace Nelson, and more. Because this season we plan on year 2 of the class. We plan on ramping things up and changing things up and making things a little bit better for you, more entertaining for you. More sound effects, more of that, more of this, and we'll be definitely leveling up the stream. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned out. So in this between time, like now until November, I'm just kind of dinking around on stream. Normally I play video games, but on Tuesday nights I really wanted to do something different. And in this case, we're gonna watch some videos that were submitted through our Discord community. And if I could put up the Discord link here, that would be fantastic. How do I invite people? Yes. Where are you? Invite people. Ooh, here it is. Okay. So I'm gonna put it on chat right there. That is the link to our Discord. If you want to join Discord, just jump into Gamer Quotient / Gaming Academy. And all our students are hanging out there, chatting. We got a sprightly bunch of posters, Jagos, with all the industry's tips, right? And then also Andre is one of our tenured students, always hanging out in there. And once in a while, you'll see Tragically Elite in there pop in and say what's up, and myself, and post about random things. So that's kind of what we're doing here in the community. But tonight, like I said, we're going to be focusing on videos that they've submitted, right? So, but ultimately tonight's about you guys submitting your videos, and I promised I'd cover that, and we just want to talk about it. And we're all gamers here. We're all part of the gaming community, and I just love chatting about video games. I used to work at a game store as manager. Actually, Tragically Elite and we used to work together. So that's kind of like one of the things that we strive to be, is that we try to keep in touch with our roots of when we were working together at the game store. The community, just the culture, stuff like that. I know it's changed a little bit, but hey, you know what? We can go back and chat about it. It's totally fun. Okay. And yeah, if you're in the chat, say what's up, say hello, tell me where you're tuning from and what your favorite game is, and you just kind of keep us informed. And if you want to join the Discord, it's all in there. Let's see, does the link disappear? Throw it in there again, just in case you guys missed the first time. But yeah, that is our plan for tonight. Now, we're here to have some fun, be exciting and interactive. So if there's stuff you guys want to chat about, please throw it in there. I always like to reply to the chat in there as well. We're all nerds here per se. So that's kind of how it's been. The last time we did this, it was a huge success. People are chatting here and now. So hopefully we see more people here tonight. Andre Venom usually is here. Also Blue Right Bot. Shout out to Blue Right Bot. Arguably one of my first viewers when I started streaming like years ago. And I think this was like 2018, I think, was really when I took notice of him. I don't know if I knew him before that, but I did stream sporadically before that. I streamed retro stuff. I also streamed some gacha stuff as well, because that was like the thing at the time, But now I'm kind of more of I'm still a variety streamer, but I keep it to PS5, sometimes PC. So, but yeah, that's kind of what we're here for. Okay, so tonight, the first video we're going to cover is submitted by Jagos, of course. Of course, Jagos. He submitted the video in our newsroom called this by Legendary Drops. This is the last warning. So last time we watched the video with Legendary Drops, and we're going to watch another one today. So, yeah. So strap on, folks. We're going to watch Legendary Drops, chat about it, and talk about how this is Xbox's last warning. Maybe they're turning to Sega, where they're just gonna do video games and not hardware anymore. So that would be bad. I don't know if that's good or bad or not. So let's see what happened to Sega. But this is the last warning.
Where do I even begin? This video isn't just about the Game Pass price increases, by the way. That's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this story. I think that Microsoft is a threat to this industry, to their customers, and to the hobby as a whole.
You can't see it right now, but there's a cat licking himself in the upper left corner where I'm covered. Here, let me get out of the way. This is so funny. Here we go. Nope, that's not the right one. How do I fix it? No, I want it full screen, bruh. Oh no, size too. There we go, 100%. I just wanted to move me. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, there's a cat right there. I thought that was funny.
You know, in most cases, I just try to give you guys my opinion on things. I don't really like to try to tell people how to spend their money, mostly because it's none of my business to begin with. But in this one rare case, I will say, if you care about this hobby, this is the last company that you want to be giving your money to. And that's not me being melodramatic. Let me make that clear. It wasn't until just recently that I realized just how absolutely disgusting some of their tactics have become and what their dream, what their vision for what gaming looks like in the future. What they're trying to make it look like in the future. You know, I had my predictions, but this is way beyond my wildest imagination. You know, with the price hikes that they had, that showed the direction that they were going in, but with some of their recent decisions, they just revealed their entire hand. I'm talking about jacking up hardware and game prices to be able to funnel more people towards their services and make them more reliant on those services. I'm talking about monetization schemes before you even boot up a game.
So that's kind of like what I thought it was too. Like they really want to force you into the Game Pass model because there is not a it's not a coincidence that they raise the prices. Also, what do you call this? They pretty much cut and paste the Game Pass service. They like split it into 3 different levels, which are like we know this has been done before. Like I for one have a Amazon Prime account, and the first thing that they do is give you free stuff, free Amazon Video, free Amazon Music, right? And next thing you know, Amazon Prime Video is like, oh, you want no ads? Well, it's $3 more if you want no ads, because we're gonna put ads in your free service now. So this is kind of like the intro to when in Gaming Academy where we say you should own your own content, you should buy your own media, because when you give full agency to these companies that control the gateway to how you take this or you consume this content, they're gonna maximize their dollar and they're gonna itemize your experience. Meaning, like, it's not gonna stop right here. So what's stopping them from like giving you only 720p and then paying for 1080p for like $2 more? That's how they're gonna do it. Like they're gonna figure it out in some way or form.
Why have a battle pass just in a game when you could have a battle pass in real life? Why have ads in the menus when you could have ads in the games? And oh, my favorite, why limit performance based on hardware when you could monetize that performance digitally?
We have got to the point where literally
anyone already
can build a fully working
not
app
messing
without
around,
knowing how to
aren't you,
code. This is based.
This is the world that Microsoft wants. Death by 1,000 cuts. You own nothing, and they are making everything.
Microsoft's doing it. Ubisoft's doing it. Nintendo's doing it. Nintendo doing DLC before a game's even out. That's not a new idea. Assassin's Creed has done that a long time ago. I remember Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I think, had DLC for sale already before the game came out. I was like, what? How is a downloadable content already available? Which means they just took it out of the main game and charged you for it. That's all that means.
I'm not even talking about Xbox anymore. I'm removing these guys from the conversation because it's really pretty obvious by now that Daddy's the one that's running the show. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how Microsoft is a threat to the industry, and I want to talk about how they don't just want your money today. They want your money every day.
Every day.
This might be the first time that I sat down to talk about something, and I felt so much righteous indignation that I feel like I need to go throw some holy water on Microsoft's front door. We only just got done talking about how Xbox raised the prices on their hardware and accessories.
Isn't it stupid how they raised the price on the hardware and also the Game Pass? I feel like you want more people to play, lower your console and increase the price of Game Pass. Not both. That's stupid.
For the second time this year, with the Xbox Series X now reaching up to $800 and their so-called affordable Series S climbing up to $380. And now, in a totally unprecedented and completely unpredictable move, Microsoft waited all of but 2 weeks before announcing major changes to Game Pass. Changes that, for whatever reason, most people either haven't noticed or haven't realized just how
What game is this? This is Dying Light. Is he playing Dying Light right now, or is this like Dead Island?
destructive they really are. On October 1st, Microsoft put out a statement claiming that they had been listening to player feedback and that Xbox Game Pass was getting a much needed upgrade, but then what followed was nothing more than a thinly veiled ad for cloud gaming and Ubisoft Plus Classics, while console users were almost handed nothing of value. The biggest announcement that these guys made wasn't about features, it was about name swaps, core to essential, standard to premium, just another layer of subliminal marketing designed to make the lowest common denominator feel like they're buying something of prestigious value. Guys, it's not the core experience anymore. It's the essential experience. Yep. And while they padded that announcement with almost no meaningful changes, there was one tiny little detail that they had left out entirely: the price hike. Something that players caught on to quickly on Twitter, pointing out that PC Game Pass was not mentioned despite saying every tier was getting upgraded. It will see a 40% increase with nothing new being added from $11.99 to $16.49 monthly. Game Pass can no longer be acquired with reward points, an unmentioned change.
So you remember in Gaming Academy where we in the rumor mill, we said that there's a rumor of a new console coming out for Xbox where it's just gonna be plugged into the TV, so you can download or you can stream your games on there, kind of like the Stadia, right? Like the Google Stadia. I heard that that's been canceled, so I have this feeling if that's true, if that thing has been canceled, the way they were like, this is how we're going to make the money back or make our money now, is that we're just going to hike up the price on Xbox and we're going to hike up the price on Game Pass and not make a new console. But, I that's just my theory. And, but it's just a theory, a game theory.
Xbox Game Pass jacked up its pricing across the board, with Game Pass Ultimate now sitting at $29.99. The so-called best deal in gaming is now halfway to the price of a full game every single month, and people were rightfully furious outside of the dedicated dick eaters, but the backlash was so intense that it even caused Microsoft's membership site to crash just from the flood of cancellations.
Bruh, monetization everywhere.
Now, none of this comes as a shock to me. You guys have heard me go after Game Pass and subscription models before. Microsoft has always wanted Xbox to become Netflix. This has been the plan since the Xbox 360 was the first home device to put Netflix on home TV screens. It's why the Xbox One was marketed as a TV box more than a console. It's why Game Pass was born in the first place. The model has always been the same: hook you in cheap and then year after year crank up the price while locking more and more behind tiers.
Yep.
So it wasn't these changes that caught me off guard. No, it was the subtle changes that nobody seemed to notice, and those changes made my stomach drop, not because of what they did, but because of what they're setting up for. During the announcement, I kept hearing these buzzwords: more value, exclusive features, extra rewards, and then right at the end, they casually slipped in, Xbox Ultimate gives you our best quality and our shortest wait times for cloud gaming. And that's when it clicked. Oh no, here it comes. Look at the tiers. Their first one promises unlimited cloud gaming. The next says unlimited cloud gaming with our shortest wait times. And the last, unlimited cloud gaming with our best quality and shortest wait times. Now, on the surface, this sounds like meaningless fluff, but dig deeper and you find out what's actually happening. This hike is not about Game Pass. It's about carving up cloud gaming itself into speed and quality tiers. Now, while we've seen this kind of thing from Nvidia's streaming, Microsoft is far more influential. And
I just said that. Didn't I just say that? I literally said, I've never seen this video before, by the way. Just want to put that out there. I said they're gonna paywall you into the quality of the stream. 720, 1080, 4K, whatever. They're going to figure it out. As long as there's an option for it, they're going to tier it. They're going to monetize it.
They're now making you pay for more resolution, frame rate, and download priority. And if that wasn't dystopian enough, every single tier now dangles more rewards through their loyalty system, turning Game Pass itself into a battle pass of its own. Not only are they monetizing how you play, they're gamifying the act of actually playing games in the first place.
Okay. So, I'm pausing it here for this reason. Do you remember the PlayStation version of this? You have to get enough points or whatever, or do something in the game to unlock the ability to buy something in the game, to buy a t-shirt from their store, right? This is exactly what that is for PlayStation. PlayStation's trying to test the waters with that thing. Right? PS Stars, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to test the water. So are enough people doing this? well, is it smart to do it? So if enough people do, they're going to be like, okay, well, there's our base right there, our base for all the people that are going to be doing it, right? So what's stopping them from moving on forward from that, right? And to kind of do the same thing. Oh yeah, well, you can't get this because you haven't done this yet, bro. It's there. You just gotta keep your eyes and mind open.
Essential and Premium get you 10 to 17 megabits per second at 1080p, while Ultimate will jump you up to 27 megabits per second if you want 1440p. And on top of that, every single Game Pass tier now gives you a different amount of reward points depending on what you're actually paying for. And at first, I thought it was really odd when that community note had said that Game Pass can no longer be acquired with reward points, but what I didn't realize was that Microsoft had already essentially turned Game Pass itself into a battle pass. Depending on what tier you have, you're getting daily reward points, quests for playing games. You can play games for 2 hours at a time every single week, and a bunch of other meaningless tasks. Those points can be redeemed for cosmetics, merch, gift cards, and before this change, you could renew your Game Pass subscription with them. Exactly like how Call of Duty, Fortnite, and Apex Legends were structured with their battle passes until those devs ripped out those features because players were getting the service for free just by playing the game.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result
We've
Hunter,
had 3
the
ads
search engine
in
for
under 20
conservatives.
minutes.
Let me just tell you what
That's
it does.
crazy.
First of
Now, some of you
We've literally had an ad every 2 minutes. That's crazy, YouTube. That's insane. Stop it. What I wanted to share with you guys was, think about it this way, right? And I totally forgot the other portion of what I was going to say, but this is just the beginning. What else can they do? And also, it's like, if it sounds too good to be true, which Game Pass was a really good deal for sure, and here it is now because now they hooked you in it, right? So think about all the other games that you're playing now, and I say that it's our fault, but we don't really have a choice. Honestly, we either like buy or die, right? We buy and play the game and roll with it because that's how it is now, or we let the studio fail. Isn't that crazy? If the studio fails because we don't buy enough of their BS, it's our fault for not buying it, right? And they blame us for like the closing down of studios and stuff. But it's our way of protesting. It's so crazy. It's almost like we're the bad guy because we want to be treated fairly when it comes to video game purchases. Isn't that weird?
guys are probably going to try to shrug this off, saying it's cloud gaming, a glorified reward system, but the point is, this is a canary in the coal mine, a glimpse of what Microsoft actually wants to happen to the future of this hobby. I've been asking myself recently, why has Microsoft been so casual about jacking up prices and so aggressive about it, even though they're dead last in the console generation? Nintendo and Sony have outsold them 3-1, yet here we are with Xbox having the most expensive hardware on the market. They were the first to follow Nintendo's lead when Mario Kart World launched at $80. They raised their prices on their accessories. They briefly pulled back on the charge for $80 for Outer Worlds 2, but then they confirmed that next year those prices are still going to increase. And on top of that, they just recently announced their Asus ROG Xbox handheld, $600 for the base model, $1,000 for the high-end one. These are insane prices for a company that is bleeding money, yet they just keep doubling down. What's going on? Well, with these changes to Game Pass prices, it all makes sense. Microsoft doesn't care if hardware or game ownership become unaffordable to the middle class and below. In fact, that's exactly what these guys are trying to do. They don't want you buying boxes or discs. They want you guys funneled into services like Game Pass and xCloud because that's where they hold the keys and you own nothing. This is the exact same logic that is driving the housing market right now. Corporations are buying up entire neighborhoods. They're pricing them out of reach. They're waiting patiently, and then they're just pushing people towards rental properties they own. Why let you buy and own anything when they can make way more money off of renting it back to you forever? That is the exact same model that Microsoft wants for gaming. This has been their plan all along. Consoles, physical games, hardware, hell, even Game Pass as we know it, none of these things have ever been Microsoft's endgame. Their bet has always been cloud gaming. Ownership in any form form is like holy water to these guys, because the second that you own something, they lose control over how you access it, when you access it, and how they can monetize it. This entire thing, it started back with the Xbox One era, and none of us ever noticed. Microsoft was trying to fast forward this future by introducing DRM licenses to try to stop you from trading or reselling your games. Sony luckily humiliated them with their infamous how to share games ad. Microsoft backpedaled, but digital distribution solved that problem for them. And now the more that I look at where they're headed, how they're pricing cloud gaming, how they're gamifying the service itself, I don't even think these guys want you even downloading games anymore, because streaming gives them total control.
Yep.
Before
There are no lies told in that run-on sentence. Guys, we've been chatting, students of the academy, my viewers, my community. You guys know we've been talking about this all year. We've been talking about like, hey, this is how it's gonna go. This is the situation. This is what the industry is going to, and we're just seeing it unfold. It's like, you know what's going to happen in the future, like you know when the world's going to blow up, right? But then nobody believes you because like it's just so crazy and preposterous, right? So no one is like, ah, he's a conspiracy theorist, he's insane, right? Don't listen, don't pay any attention to that guy, right? But when you're the guy like telling like, hey, stop it, this is where if you don't do this right, dude, it's kind of nuts how like we just called it. It's all pattern recognition, right? And it's just a way like they slowly like they socially engineer you to accept it, so this way when they actually make the move, it doesn't feel as bad. Can you imagine if they did this move like in 2020, right, when we were just talking about how physical media is important, no big streaming stuff yet, right? Can you imagine if they just went, all right, by the way, we're gonna tier list your streaming right now, quality of game, the speed, and you're like, there's no way I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep buying games at GameStop, right? Because there's no way you're going to rip me off. I'm not going to even own anything. Like the response would be more visceral because it's more shocking during that time. But for the last 5 years, we've been slowly being fed these small changes, and we haven't been really paying attention. You know, we're just being we're just going with the flow. So now that they've made it, of course, it's going to be like, yeah, oh man, the prices are expensive. Oh, the price went up. But like the response isn't that intense, in my opinion. Because if you did this 5 years ago, I have a feeling something else would have happened crazier than a website shutting down for cancellations. There are probably people returning Xboxes, getting rid of it. Like it's like I'm talking that craziness, right?
Or you ask, no way, these guys are losing money. That doesn't even make any sense. My hometown, average house, it's in the Midwest. It's like $200,000 a home.
Bro, that's cheap in comparison to where I'm at. An average house here is about five to 600,000. It's stupid.
I went home just recently.
5 years ago is still being kind, right? I would say 10, absolutely 10 years ago. Absolutely.
BlackRock bought an entire neighborhood and priced all of the houses between $700,000 and $800,000. These guys do not care about losing money right now. They will sit and wait patiently. They have all the money and all the time in the world. All they're trying to do is take away options. Microsoft is a company that is worth $4 trillion.
Keep that in mind, Jagos. You, the community, and the people that we what do you call this? We cultivate here at the Gaming Academy, right? I honestly believe that we're in this culture a lot deeper than most gamers are. Like I saw, and the reason why I say this is because like most people just don't care, right? They don't have a collection behind them, right? They just play the mainstream games. They play the free games. They play, anything that isn't outside of the mainstream. They're not even going to blink at it. And yet these developers and these companies are trying to cater to those guys, not to us, because we know better. We know they can't trick us, right? And we know where we've been, where we're coming from. Like we know physical is important. We know control is important. We know we need a full game with no DLC, right? We know that, but they don't know that. People that have been born into this gaming world playing Fortnite and Call of Duty for free, this is just another day for them. This is normal for them. This is like, oh yeah, prices went up, no big deal, because they've never experienced where we've been and what we've experienced before the era of online gaming, right? Before the digital era.
They do not care how long it takes for this plan to play out. They will wait. That's what's going to happen.
Are you saying money is the real enemy? Money's always been the enemy, dude. No matter where you go, especially in art, when I always say, like, when you inject money into any hobby, it ruins it. Right now, Magic the Gathering has a problem with money. And the issue with money is because scalpers are getting hold of the cards and they're selling it, right? So that I'm just saying philosophically, it's core because of profit, right? That's the money.
How has nobody noticed that this entire Game Pass reward system program is literally just there to keep their retention and their player numbers up for their shareholders?
Yep.
Play a game for 2 hours every single week. I wonder why they want you to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we have dailies and weeklies, guys. You know? Oh yeah. And that's part of like my rhetoric when it says like gaming has become mainstream, right? That's part of that too. Part of that too. And because remember, like, I'm an 80s kid. I grew up playing video games in the 80s and especially during the 90s. Like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, that was my era. I missed Sega. I missed Atari, right? Atari was like the bubble. A bubble burst in Atari, and then they got reignited by Nintendo, right? So I missed the Atari, but I just right in time for Nintendo. And so when you say, private equity firms that bought Hollywood and coming into gaming, back then they saw gaming as like a joke. It was just a hobby for like nerds. It wasn't for the mainstream because kids were like, it wasn't cool to play video games, right? But now it's quite the opposite. It is you're a weirdo for not gaming now. It's like, because it's so ingrained in our culture now, because we all grew up and now the nerds are now the adults, right? So now what that also attracts unsavory characters to your hobby that are willing to exploit it, and and monetize it.
I don't usually like this flavor of language because I think it's overused and hyperbolic, but this is straight up late stage capitalism. This is corporate authoritarianism is what it is. This is some straight up cyberpunk shit that we're looking at right now. I mean, if you take the time to think about it, Microsoft already...
Why do you think, and you're right, because isn't it weird that the indie titles, the ones that don't have big money backing it, are the ones that are the most fun to play and most complete to play? Why is that? It's almost like they were made by people that love video games but don't have the concern of monetizing their games, right? They just want to sell the game, have a good game, maybe a DLC, maybe that's it. But like, there's no monetizing. There's no like, dripping. Like, there's no stamina meter that like, oh, you gotta wait and recharge. Recharge before you come back to play. It's most of them are single player games. Isn't that weird? I'm just saying. It all makes sense.
Has xCloud and Game Pass services on select smart TVs right now. If they get it on Sony's PlayStation, if they get it on Nintendo's hardware, next stop for these guys is not making hardware anymore. Then after that, what they're going to do is they're going to stop selling their games entirely.
Dreamcast.
Then they're going to stop letting you even download the games to begin with. And there you go. That's it. Now they got full control. No more piracy, no more ownership, and they can microtransact these games as much as they want.
He's like, he's saying words right now, but all I'm hearing is this is how Nintendo's doing things.
Before you even play them, they can sell you speeds, they can sell you queue times, they can sell you frame rate, they can sell you resolution, whatever they want. While it's not going to happen right now, this is the plan for the future, and I'm here to warn you about it. Luckily, we have options. We have a lot of other options. We have better options, much better options. Also, lucky for us, their games largely suck. And these guys are really hard pushing into AI right now. And that technology is in its infancy still, from my perspective, which is only going to come at a cost to the quality of their games even more. But I think it's really important to send a clear message that we want to have nothing to do with this. If you have the option to have nothing to do with this, I highly recommend to have nothing to do with this. Because if you guys think this is bad, you're going to love what I have to say next.
But here's the thing, right? He's 100% accurate. Don't get me wrong. I agree with everything he's saying. But like, you're in it now. You have an Xbox now, right? Because you bought it before all this craziness, right? But now, what's your option? Stop playing Xbox. Go play something else, right? So that see how they got you? Like, well, you don't really have a choice now, do you? Right? Or you just, if you really want to maintain this like hobby of yours, you just gotta either cough it up, go somewhere else, or pay the extra rates because they locked you in, right? They locked you in. Now here's the thing that that may mess this up. Like my theory also, this is part of like what's going on. If digital gaming just really pops off, right? And people are also at the same time, there's a subculture of gamers like us that are like, I want to own this game. I don't want to leave it on Xbox Game Pass. I also feel that the secondary market of used games is also going to skyrocket, especially for retro. And retro could mean Xbox 360. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't want Game Pass, you're like, hey, but I really want to play this 360 game. I don't want to put money down on Game Pass, right? Well, you don't have a choice but to buy it. And now that game is now jacked up in price on the secondary market. That happens a lot when it comes to scarcity. So
if you ever want to know what the future of this industry looks like, the best place to check isn't
Xbox is not running my home. Absolutely not. I refuse.
What developers are saying or even what publishers are saying. It's what business analysts are pushing, because these guys are the ones with the connections to the guys at the top, and they don't give a damn about the players or the experience. All they care about is where the money goes. A few days ago, Push Square ran an article titled "Sony is a terrible company that's blowing it in the games business," says Michael Pachter. Now, if you guys don't know who Michael Pachter is, he's a business analyst for Wedbush Securities, one of the biggest wealth management and advisory firms in the country.
Also, what wasn't there? I swear I saw an article of like a previous CFO at Microsoft saying like, "What are they doing? This is insane!" Like their CFO, their chief financial officer, saying that about the new decisions they made. Like, I think that even he was like, "What are you guys doing? You guys are insane."
He's built his entire career off of telling investors where to put their money, and right now his favorite company is Netflix, and that should tell you exactly where this is going. In the article, the writer Liam Croft quotes Pachter when talking about the recent investments into EA and whether or not Sony is worthy of investment, saying, no, Sony for sure not. Sony is a terrible company. They're actually blowing it in the games business. Games are moving to connect to TV, so think about the participants that are going to deliver the way we get movies via Netflix. Forget subscription models. Just think about iOS becoming your TV. So free-to-play games on your TV, who's going to deliver that? Cloud providers, AI.
For over 17 years, I thought that I had a problem with this,
Every 2 minutes.
but I actually didn't.
Now, Pachter never directly names Microsoft, but let's not kid ourselves. That's exactly who he's talking about. Outside of Amazon, they're the only player in the industry that's positioned in both of those markets, and they already have their game services connected to TVs. Besides that, Game Pass is already baked into some Amazon Fire Sticks, but the key detail here is the Netflix comparison and the direct-to-TV access. That's what investors are bullish on, and that's exactly the path that Microsoft is following right now, which means the next logical step, the most lucrative step, is obvious. xCloud and Game Pass will eventually be pivoting to free-to-play with ads. Not just subscriptions, but ads.
Can you imagine playing your game and it pauses to play an ad? That is cursed. That is a future dystopian gamer dystopia. That is like Ready Player One shit right there. Bro, no. That bro, I never want to see that. I hate myself.
Ad-driven TV gaming, and you don't have to take my word for it. Microsoft's own game CFO Tim Stewart has already said as much. See, back in 2023, The Verge ran an article titled Microsoft Exec Hints at Free Ad-Supported Xbox Cloud Gaming, where Tom Warren wrote, Microsoft currently offers free access to Fortnite on Xbox Cloud Gaming service xCloud, but there are signs that the company may offer free game streaming in exchange for ads. Microsoft Gaming CFO Tim Stewart hinted at the prospect in a Wells Fargo TMT Summit interviewed last month, spotted by Tweaktown. The vision that I like to talk about is we have xCloud game streaming, so you can subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate and you can stream hundreds of games to really any endpoint that has a browser experience, explained Stewart. For models like Africa or India or Southeast Asia, maybe places that aren't console first, you can say, hey, do you want to watch 30 seconds of ad and get 2 hours of game streaming? And this is when it all clicked for me, because I just recently saw Paul Tossi mention a comment that Game Pass in Brazil has doubled in price from 59.99 real a month to 120 real a month in a country where the average.
If you ask me, Jagos, not enough. I want that doubled, and I want it doubled again. Send him a message.
Household per capita income is around 2,000 real. That makes Game Pass a wildly expensive luxury. Microsoft's plan isn't just to increase the prices in the US, it's to make the service completely unaffordable to lower income economies and then funnel those players into free ad-supported versions, test it there first, and then slowly but surely bring it to the West.
Price them out, force them to do the free-to-play with ads, make them complacent. Make it the standard, right? So future generations know that, like, didn't know how good they had it back then, right? Because they're gonna be born into it. I know I'm talking like societal stuff, but like it's the same thing. I mean, it's just like, it's like I said, it's social engineering. They are controlling the way the gaming culture is, through by how they monetize it.
South America, Africa, Southeast Asia, these regions do not have very many options. That's why piracy has always been so strong out there, but it also makes these guys the easiest targets for ad-driven gaming and free-to-play. Look at some of the most popular games that they play out there. If the choice is between no games at all or sitting through some ads for access, a lot of these players are going to tolerate that, and Microsoft knows it. Rolling it out in the West would just spark an open rebellion, so instead they're going after the most vulnerable audiences, pitching it as an act of generosity and ignoring the fact that they are the ones who engineered the problem in the first place. Mm-hmm. I know
that's something like honestly, the way they're doing this is like CIA level, like tearing down government stuff. You know, what they're doing is they're destroying the old gaming community to create the new future gaming community. That's what they're doing. This book called Media Piracy in Emerging Economies, and it points out the high prices and the lack of access makes piracy inevitable. You know what, man? Honestly, like, for, on the record, I guess, like, I was pretty big on that back in high school. Gee, I wonder why. I had no money, and I had a buddy that was like so smart, and he like knew how to, like, when I got cable internet, we just downloaded all our games. You know what I'm saying? We learned to crack apps, right? We were using Photoshop, without having to pay for it. That was big. We saved us thousands of dollars, right? We were playing like Quake 3. We were playing like all these new games cracked, right? We just weren't allowed to play them online, right? But we played them locally on LAN servers and stuff like that. But yeah, it was fun. It was like, like, we enjoyed it. We didn't have any money, but we still had fun in some way or form. I'm not like that. Clearly, I'm also a creator, but like, I feel like if you can't afford something and you want access to it, and you're taking extra steps and being clever about getting that, I think that there's some merit in that, right? But of course, if you can afford it, you want to support the developers and stuff like that. Yeah, of course. That's like your own thing. If you want to support that because you like them, but if if you want to play a game and the developers suck and you're like, oh, I'm not giving any money. Yeah, I feel like a good way to access that game without having to support them is to not pay for it. You know. Yeah, and like I said, like I was in high school when and and honestly, like this is the thing that, and I'll tell you guys this, like the Dreamcast failed because one, it was like it was hacked to shit, right? Dreamcast was one of the easiest games to burn games on and play those games, and right, and so and it because it had a good library. Dreamcast is awesome, right? But like when that was the era where piracy was like through the roof, there's a roof through the roof, man, and it was expensive during that time. So yeah, I don't blame anybody for pirating that, but that's the thing, we don't have a Dreamcast 2, we don't have a Dreamcast now. That is the byproduct of that, right? So, but that was a story for a different time. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people are probably going to call me a conspiracy theorist, but I promise you this is only the beginning. Just look at what happened with TV and movies. We went from owning VHS tapes, DVDs, and Blu-rays to owning nothing but a screen and paying more than ever for 10 different...
That is facts, Jagos. I actually tried to do that with the Saturn. I bought, the memory pack that you get on the Saturn on the back. There was one that was like, it like stopped the region check on it. Right. And I wanted to buy that. And remember, internet sales weren't as secure at the time. You didn't know where the site was or who was selling this. Like this was like the Wild West of the internet still. And so I think like I went to like some Chinese store downtown in like Chinatown in Seattle or something. And I ended up like finding that because I knew what it was called. And I totally bought it from like some like Chinese dude that like had his own video store downtown in Seattle, and then it made me play Saturn games that are imported, and also burn games. That's what it was. It was like removing the DRM or something like that back in the time.
Subscription services constantly upgrading just to be able to avoid ads. Technology moves so fast. This is the future that these guys are priming us for, and I can promise you it is coming sooner than anyone thinks.
Explore a
Isn't that
vast
weird though?
open world.
That
Everything you do has an
PlayStation
impact
was
on
like, we're gonna make it.
I don't know,
We're gonna
man.
make it region free, and I'll like, well, since you made it region free, now you're selling more games because people are buying imported games as well. Like, see, when you give us what we want, we give you what you want. Just don't be too greedy. That's the problem here. They're just too greedy.
I only see this going downhill from here. Microsoft is one of the wealthiest, most influential companies on the planet. They have maintained an effective monopoly for years, buying out emerging competitors before they even had a chance. And gaming is nothing to these guys. Microsoft makes up just 8% of Microsoft's total revenue. That means this entire industry is basically just a guinea pig for them, a long-term play they can afford to just sit on and wait until they've cornered the market entirely. Every single move up until now, every acquisition, every strategy, it has all been building towards this one conclusion, turning games into a service-based hellscape, just like movies and television, where convenience turned into inconvenience, where cheap turned into expensive, and it's all being driven by the profits for the few. Anytime I think about these subscription services, all I can do is just think back to the blowback over Ubisoft's leadership saying that players just need to get comfortable not owning their games, and Larian Studios' Sven Vinka warning the industry of the dangers of subscription services and what they pose to the industry, saying, whatever the future of gaming looks like, content will always be king, but it's going to be a lot harder to get good content if subscriptions become the dominant model and the select group gets to decide what goes to market and what not. Direct from developer to player is the way. Getting a board to okay a project fueled by idealism is almost impossible, and idealism needs room to exist, even if it can lead to disaster. Subscription models will always end up being a cost-benefit analysis exercise intended to maximize profit. There is nothing wrong with that, but it may not become a monopoly of subscription services. We are already all dependent on a select group of digital distribution platforms, and discoverability is brutal. Should those platforms all switch to subscription, it'll become savage. In such a world, by definition, the preference of subscription services will determine what games get made. Trust me, you really don't want that.
Isn't that crazy how Like it because like if you think about it, we were all Xbox Game Pass is awesome. $20, get all these games, digital gaming, right? Now that they took it to the next level, all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute. This idea isn't as good as it thought it was, right? So all I'm saying is there's got to be balance to this stuff. That you can't just go hardcore in one direction, right? So I love physical games. Don't get me wrong, but games can get expensive now. 70, $60, right? So a thing like Game Pass has value on somebody that's not looking to spend that much money, right, on video games. But then now they went extra crazy on Game Pass, and now it's worse than buying physical product. It's see what I'm saying? Like it's just, man, they need to calm down.
The reason I'm so passionate about this and why I'm making a warning and a big fuss out of something like this, while a lot of people are probably going to think it's a lot smaller than what it is because if their model and their plan succeeds, then it becomes the dominant model for the entire industry, because that's how these industries work. It's worked in movies and television. It'll work here just like any other piece of entertainment. It worked in music as well, right? Most people don't own CDs anymore. Everybody just listens to their music on YouTube.
And Spotify. They don't even download music anymore. They just stream it now. Ooh. When was the last time you guys downloaded a song, right? Or do you just stream it on one of the services? See, music has been doing this for a while now. We just never noticed.
Or they listen to their music on Spotify, which also have advertising, and you have to pay to not have that advertising there. That's just how this entire technology works. It's how these industries work. And if subscription services, streaming services become the dominant model, it doesn't just go to, oh, I have to pay extra money. Oh, I don't get to own anything. It goes past that, and they start actually dictating what you do and don't receive so far as content. What content actually gets approved. We already see that with TV and movies specifically, right? Because look, it's a lot of these movies have the same actors, the same tone, the same writing, the same themes, the same politics. You're going to see that exact same thing in video games as well.
Yeah.
The one thing that's working to our favor in all of this is that largely their games suck, Xbox specifically, but also AAA as a whole for the most part lately. They're all really pushing us towards indie and independent games. It's just, I don't know what it is, man. With some of these, it's not even some of these, it's almost all of these AAA games at this point. I sit down to play them and I'm just not there. I just don't care anymore. I don't know what it is. I think it's just they all feel the same, or they're telling the same story with the same gameplay.
Sad dad games.
I'm just tired of it.
Is Ghost of Yote a sad dad game?
And that's working to our favor because that makes these services and their games a lot less interesting and us a lot less interested in them. I saw one creator talk about this, and I think they were probably responding to IGN's coverage on it because they were saying Xbox is going to be known for greed this entire generation.
Well, here's the thing too, Andre, right? I honestly feel like there's a creativity problem in the gaming industry right now. And that's why you're seeing why all games are the same, because they're looking at the success of the last game and what made that game popular, why people loved it, right? Oh, the story was great, the story was awesome, and and so like now the next game that they make, or the new game that they make, is exactly the same game, same theme, right? Partner system, Kratos and Loki, Joel and Ellie, right? Next thing you know, Aloy will have a buddy now in her next game. Like, dude, it's a pattern, right? It's a pattern. Got a lot of remakes this year. Yeah,
he's going to be known for greed, and they're right, at least in my eyes. But this creator was essentially alluding to the fact that it's not them that's the problem, it's the system that's the problem, saying that it's capitalism.
But they are the system, idiot. Like, we can't turn to, if the three titans are Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, and they are the industry and the system, where else can we go? They are the system. Unless you go PC and go 100% indie.
It's broken and needs to be fixed. And from my perspective, you don't blame the tool, you blame the operator. And when I look out there and I see companies like Larian Studios that know how to make sure that they're looking out for both their best interests and our best interests at the exact same time. They do a damn good job at handling both and balancing both. They're not alone.
Jago,
That alone proves
you,
that it is
DM
not
those links to me?
the
I can't
car.
look at 'em on
It's the one that's driving it. And right now, the way those guys are driving that car, they're driving it into a wall with us in the passenger seat.
Yeah. And no,
I'll be honest
we're
with you,
more,
man.
We're more like the airbags, right? We're here to help save them.
I can't keep up. This year is just, I can't be the only one that's noticed that this year has to be the greediest year we have ever seen in the games industry. I've never seen so many things with price changes, with monetization, with live service, with all of these different things. And while it's made for a lot of content, it just does not make things look good in the future. And I think now more than ever, now more than ever, it's never been more important that you make sure that you're giving your time, your money, your attention, all of it to the right people. So think about who they are. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Let me know. Am I crazy?
No.
Am I not crazy?
Homie, you're not crazy. You are not alone, is what we're trying to say here at the Gaming Academy, playgrounds, right? We're all feeling the burn. We're all feeling what you're feeling, Okay, so another good video, but Legendary drops. You're awesome, buddy. Thank you for that. And who knows? Maybe one day Daddy Yasmin's gonna recognize her video and be like, "Hey, start talking about us." Wouldn't that be fun? All right. What's the next video we should watch? 2024 recap, right? There was one that I saw that really stuck with me here. We can do Nintendo's Out of Control. The new games are losing. That's a good one. Pirate Equity made piracy great again. Yeah, absolutely. Are they the same stories? Should we talk about that one? Confirmed Charles Bronson. Our times Japan of their Street Fighter. Oh yeah, I can see that. I don't really want to talk about Nintendo. I don't want to give them like any airtime whatsoever. No airtime for you, Nintendo. It took me like years to get a Switch, right? And yeah, there's no reason for me to get a Switch 2. I'm not social enough for a Switch 2. I don't have any friends that play the Switch, or like exclusive games on the Switch, because you can play Switch 1s on there, but like if you have a Switch, why do you need that? Okay. Here we go. Next one.
We all go to looking for profound gaming commentary that challenges and informs us of new movements within the.
This is kind of long, 40 minutes. Getting bored of every PlayStation game telling the same story. We probably need to get a shorter video, like 20-minute video. Let's see. Capcom. Oh yeah, you got to put these in the suggestion box, Jagos, because like the newsroom is pretty cluttered in there now. Not complaining, I'm just saying it's just easier for me to find. Let's see, got that one done. Oh yeah, I am, and I'm glad I'm glad I'm not an Xbox dude, because I would be extra salty, because I would definitely treat Game Pass like my demo station, right? That would be the system of choice for me to try out new games, right? So that's what I would be doing. Gears of War Ragnarok, yep. Yeah, and man, and this is why I think like why I'm so stoked for Phantom Blade Zero, because there's really nothing like it. And matter of fact, like I think they downgraded my interest for that game because like do you guys remember watching like the early trailers for it? Like here, I'll show you. Like the concept of the game was like super cool. This was like is it 2 years ago?
Knowing you have only 66 days to live.
No, I think this is like one of the newer ones already.
Just run away.
I don't even think I ever saw his face in the original trailers.
It won't make any difference at the end of the day. You know better than anyone else.
The combat of the game and the way they portray the combat is really what really made me want to like really get into this game. Because it's unique. And if they show some gameplay, I can show you what I'm talking about.
Everyone wears a mask. You too. This is a real face.
That's pretty cool.
He let you live?
Dude, what is this? Like, this trailer has no combat whatsoever. Okay. See how he's doing like the parrying and stuff? Like, that's what I liked about this game. Right? And now that it's getting closer to actual release, you notice how it's like they kind of remove that and it looks like a generic like just block or parry, right? But this looks like it was like interactive parrying. Kind of okay, the way I guess what I'm trying to say, you guys remember the concept video for Virtua Fighter 6, right? How it looked really cool in the combat. We know the game's not going to be like that, but that's what makes that trailer look cool. And Phantom Blade Zero did the same thing. And the more that I see the gameplay for what the actual game is, the less interested I become, is because now I'm like, oh, it's just like another game, another one of these games. You know, it's not as interesting in my brain. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. Like I've never seen that kind of like parrying and blocking. Weird camera.
Going where? This damn place. You're suicidal.
Prince of Persia platforming. Fascination.
One last toast. And we're all done.
Mega Man over here. Yeah, you see that? If that was gameplay, that's cool. Right? No, we just see generic blocking now. Yeah, right there. Oh my gosh, that looks so sick. Whoa, dude.
Patience is the key, master.
Andre, do you know there was one wuxia game that was on the PS2 that was like Phantom Blade Zero? If you know what it is, put it in chat. If not, I'll share with you what game it is, because I played that game and I beat that game. And there hasn't been any game like it, and now Phantom Blade Zero is coming out. That's why I'm like, oh wow, it's like the game I played. No, not a Jet Empire. It's on PS2.
Time is not
Exclusively
on his
on PS2.
side. All we have to do is wait.
Yes. Let's kill him with time.
What's your plan?
So
Knowing you have
cool.
only 66 days to live.
Get my heart back.
All right. Don't remember.
The Concord devs have returned.
Asmund.
Oh,
No, not you, Asmund. Okay. No, and no one's figured it out. No one's figured it out. Okay. Well, you guys had enough time. So there was a little game on the PS2 called Boujin Guy, and it's spelled like this: Boujin Guy. Does anybody remember that game? Boujin Guy was a a random third person action game like Devil May Cry. Was very wuxia. And also it was made by like some unknown developer, right? So let me share some Boujin Guy gameplay here. Okay. You guys may not remember this game at all. And the main character was modeled after Got, the Japanese rock star. Got. Yeah, Red Entertainment. You guys remember Red Entertainment? Title. Guys, I'm gonna blow your mind. If you've never played Boujin Guy: The Forsaken City, you're gonna lose your shit when you see this game. Oh boy, let's go. Okay. Nothing too impressive, right? It's just like, oh, it looks kind of mid. Just wait till the combat starts. This is the OG Factory Blade Zero. Yeah. Yeah. You've never seen it, right? So these are just like the cronies, but once you get to the boss fight, it gets really, really interesting. This is kind of like the tutorial screen. It's very Devil May Cry too, right? Like just the city and everything. Okay. Yeah, this is a video game ass video game. Look at that. I think this is just a replay of like that beginning area. This is actually the player. You gotta give him the scarf, right? It's always like the scarf. The cool scarf. Yep, you're right. Okay. That's an intro. That. It's so cool.
Now, defend yourself.
Yes. Yeah, Wuxia games.
No focus, no balance, no power. You are terrible. You need more training.
He looks like a Square Enix character. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so technically, when you see him fight a boss, it gets really, really intense. So let's try to find a boss fight. I mean, look, it's just Devil May Cry, guys, right? Look at this. The water, the background, right? You gotta parry the waves!
No! Have you remembered nothing? You can reflect the water the same way you can reflect a magic spell.
Bro.
Have faith in yourself. Face the water and concentrate.
Face the water and parry it.
Yes, that's it. You can do it.
He's running out of meter. He's gotta get more meter. It's a boss fight. Okay, this may be interesting now. Look at that. That's Phantom Blade Zero stuff right there. Isn't that cool? They were doing it on the PS2. Bruh, how come they're not doing this now with swordplay games? Lost Souls Aside would have been way cooler if it was like this. I think I remember playing the last boss, and it was just like consistently a dual match like that until one of you guys cracked. So basically, do you guys remember the? You guys remember the last fight in God Hand where you and like the devil arms guy, devil hand guy was like just like punching each other and mashing? Like that's what the last boss felt like in this game. Like you guys were just equal and you had to just be better than him, you know? So that's what the crazy part about the game was. Let's see if I can find that. All right.
I know those moves.
That's enough gucked. Enough gawk. Here we go. Here we go. Like it's like fights like this, moments like this in games where I'm like, yo, this is video games right here.
You're not a demon. What are you?
You and I, we're polar opposites. If you are the God Hand, then I am the Devil Hand.
Those who possess this power are capable of becoming either God or demon. You chose demon, huh?
Isn't that the room that like
Now
Loki
it's
was
time
trapped in?
You danced with the devil.
Forestero, huh? Yes. So cool. Would have been better if Double Hand was like all kicks, you know? Oh, got him. This is so much easier now than it was the first time playing it. Still pretty equal fight if you think about it. Even though this guy has way more like, god moves than he does. Consistently using. Why do you get hit by that? That's random. Yes. He's not doing his pummel. What? This game is weird.
That's all?
What the heck? That's so strange.
I see.
Let's see here. Man, yeah, man, just wants to throw hands. Yeah, I think this was the one.
Sick,
like,
dude.
There's, you know, we're talking about moments and like video game hype, right? See, this guy more impressive than. Oh, he's got max difficulty. You see that?
Behold the power of a god.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, God, I'm so cool. Yeah, wow, come on. How's that? That's so nice. Oh, it's a video game of mastery. It's so cool. I think the sound effects too is what sells it, you know? Like that right there is so funny. Like they knew they were self-aware that like like the fruit is like so video game.
Great.
I also feel like that kick where they like kick each other at the same time, that should also been like a blast battle, right? Like in Dragon Ball where they're like the beam battle, beam struggle. They should do that with that too. Bro, what? This man's been playing with me for a hot minute. It's so cool. The Shaolin, let's go! Now, like, if you didn't know what this game was and you watched this fight scene, you'd be like, "What in the world is this?" You know what I'm saying? You know, like, I don't have a problem with like a Devil May Cry game, but with hands, you know, just like hand-to-hand combat. That'd be so fun. Maybe. Depends what you're about to say next. Oh, I thought he had less than that. I thought he had like 6 months to make a game or something. That's why it felt unfinished. But I mean, the philosophy behind it. Can you imagine if this game was polished? Like, give him another year, bruh. Even the cartooniness of like the clashes with the crazy sound effects and the animations, I think that's like such a flavor like win, because the game is like, it's like a video game, right? It's not serious, right? The tone of the game is so ridiculous, right? That is like, these are the nuances that I think these journalists fail to understand, is that like, that was a design choice. The sound effects, like the corniness of the game, right? These are like cultural like design implementations that show you like, well, this is the nature of this game. It's like not meant to be like, you know, Final Fantasy X or anything like that, right? Final Fight 2 or Final Fight Streetwise? Electric Underground. Because Final Fight Streetwise was a mess, for sure. They were trying to make it like super like edgy, and like the tone of the game was super edgy, and like, nah. Final Fight, you gotta keep like 80s like warrior style, you know? dong. Yeah, I love that too. Is it the same guy that like really loved Final Fight? Remember that? I don't think he really needed to do Enlightenment, but that was crazy. But yeah, you get the point. Like that's a video game ass video game. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's do which one is suggestion box? Okay, let's open this one. Sorry for that. Sorry for that quick detour. Okay, so next one here. Let's do and the peanut community. Okay, I love it. I love it, man. I love you guys. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, let me ask you guys this. Like, this is kind of like a quick interval question, right? So I think PlayStation won't switch to that model just yet of that video of streaming, just because they're number one right now. But that's I feel like as soon as they see a dip in profits, I feel like they're going to switch to that model. And this is probably why we're seeing like, why are these companies going back to live service, right? Because what Nick said, it's the most profitable way for them to make the most out of their investment, right? So this is why it makes no sense when Kill the Justice League failed, they went and did another one. Crazy, right? So I think that answers our question a lot of why they're doing certain things. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I honestly think they're gonna keep going, keep going until they have full control, whether it's gonna take another 5 years or 10, but like, oh man, the gaming future does not look bright.
Set out to create something impossible. A new studio, a new game, and a new way of doing things. This is our story so far. Today we're here to answer 4 key questions. What is this game? Who is it for? Why should anyone care? And what proof do we have that we'll actually deliver? This video covers everything we can share right now, from gameplay to story, visuals, platforms, and more. There's a lot to unpack, so let's start with the biggest question. What is this game? Tales Edge is a third-person, narrative-driven action-adventure game that's inspired by games like God of War and Horizon, but with its own spin. Our game takes place in a world where all stories and characters from folklore and literature coexist. Think fairy tales like Jack and the Beanstalk, Sleeping Beauty, Goldilocks and the Three Little Bears. It's home to fables and characters passed down for generations. Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Arabian Nights, nursery rhyme characters. It's all on the table and it's all up for grabs. As for gameplay, we're currently planning the length around 8 to 12 hours, and it's being built in Unreal Engine 5.4. And look, we're trying really hard to not make it look and feel like every other Unreal Engine game that's out there. We're looking to innovate within the genre, but we're always prioritizing gameplay above all. In the game, you play as Red Riding Hood, now 16 years old, raised in the wilds by the Huntsman after her family's loss. She is no longer the helpless child that you might remember. She's been raised as a survivalist and a skilled hunter. She's disciplined and an unlikely.
So they're going for the Liza P approach, not in like gameplay, but more like in storytelling, taking that mythology and like making a game out of it.
Hero. The game begins with her trying to unravel the mystery of her guardian's disappearance, a journey that takes place across a dark fairy tale landscape filled with moral dilemmas, deadly enemies, and unexpected allies all along the way. Mechanically, Tales Edge focuses on a couple of things. First, parkour and traversal. Red's agility lets you climb trees, leap across rooftops, and swing through dense forests. It's fast, fluid, It's designed to keep you constantly moving. We're also integrating something we call repositioning stealth. So instead of hiding in shadows, which will slow down gameplay, waiting for different characters and enemies to move, stealth in Tales Edge is all about staying on the move, using speed and distraction to outmaneuver your enemies. We're looking into dynamic combat, so a mix of ranged attacks as well as melee combos, and environmental traps that will make every encounter feel unique. We're also looking into a narrative that adapts, so whether you choose to be kind, malicious, or somewhere in between, your choices shape the world, altering relationships with NPCs and the course of the story. We're drawing a lot of inspiration from later Harry Potter movies, old Sierra Adventure games, all the games that we were most immersed in growing up. Our world is dark, it's dangerous, but it's also whimsical and beautiful at times. It's designed to take players across a wide gamut of emotions. So who is this game for? Tales Edge is for players who crave rich storytelling and immersive worlds. If you love games like The Last of Us, or you enjoy the freedom of movement in games like Assassin's Creed, the earlier ones, then you'll feel right at home here. Specifically, we're targeting a few different audiences. First, story-driven gamers. People who want characters that they can root for, complex villains that they can despise, and a plot that stays with them long after the credits roll. We're also looking at mechanically engaged.
See, like, I understand like the whole character archetype. Like maybe make Little Red Riding Hood like clearly a protagonist, right? But sometimes she does some messed up things, but she gets the job done. Like they're not like she's morally gray because of the experience that she's been through. Like she's got to get it done no matter what, but then she has to end up like, killing, some, I don't know, some defenseless people are sacrificing them. Like I think that's a little bit more interesting than just like your typical good guy, bad guy. And also, one of the things you can do is like one of the best things you can do out of villain is make them 3D or multifaceted, right? Like Thanos in Marvel, like he was like trying to save his people. He was mentally wrong on why that wouldn't work, but like to him, he was just like, okay, my planet got destroyed and I don't want that repeating ever again. So his vision caused people to have a discussion of like, is he actually right? Is he doing the right thing? So maybe having a villain that was maybe like they have a selfish cause. Like for example, like Mr. Freeze and Batman, he's just in love with his wife. Like that's all he wants is to get his wife back and like, cure her, right? But he's doing everything he can, like, and he's like being a hardcore criminal about it. But in a way, like he just loves his wife. It's like stuff like that is what makes like character writing and story writing of characters way more interesting than just like, oh yeah, they're just a good guy, they're just a bad guy. Like we've seen that like long
players. So fans of games that will reward skill, whether it's mastering traversal, stealth, combat, or other mechanics in the game. We're also targeting fairy tale fans with the dark side.
Oh,
so anyone that grew up loving classic stories but now wants to see them through a mature and gritty lens that's accurate to what the original stories were built on, this is for you. If you've been craving a tightly crafted, narrative-driven game that goes beyond surface-level concepts and dialogue, Tales Edge is for you. So next up, why should you care about Tales Edge when there are hundreds of other games out there? I believe it's because this game isn't about chasing trends or replicating what's been done before. Like, that's natural. You kind of have to replicate what's there. You can't just create something completely original out there. People need some level of familiarity. But it's really about telling an original story that feels personal and building a deep, rich world that feels alive and delivers gameplay that feels fresh. Here's why I believe we'll stand out. Firstly, a unique setting. The shared fairy tale universe may feel familiar, but it will be unlike anything you've played. This is not just a reskin of familiar stories. It's a world that's built from the ground up, and it's blending the whimsy of folklore with the grit of medieval survival. We're also tackling emotional depth. We're not just shying away from hard topics. Tales Edge explores the themes of loss, revenge, and redemption, all delivered through a cast of flawed human characters.
Got him. Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear.
We're paying homage to the original fairy tales, and many of them do not have happy endings. We're looking into fresh mechanics. The focus on movement, repositioning stealth.
Oh, you see how like she like dodges the post to like move across it? They did that in Aliens Predator Hunting Grounds.
Things make every encounter dynamic and hopefully exciting. This isn't meant to be a game about playing it safe. It's about using your environment and your creativity on the fly to overcome challenges. And lastly, we're looking at player agency. So your choices shape the story in meaningful ways. It's not about binary good versus evil. This is about navigating a complex, morally gray situation, and the world will react to you differently based on the choices you make. So maybe the most important reason to care is because this game is being built with passion. Every piece of Tales Edge, from the characters to the combat systems, like it's all been designed by people who love games and they want to.
Hold on. Let me look real quick. Is there any racism in the staff? Is there any what other keywords should I be using? Let's see. 1, 2. There's 2 bald guys. There's 2 bald guys in there, and I'm good. I'm good. Also, there's a dude that's using a Macross avatar. That guy is a hero to me. He's pretty cool. Right? But you know, some could argue this staff is not diverse enough
to create something that they would play themselves. Let me share some insight now from the team to show you what I mean. One of the core philosophies driving our studio in this whole idea of building in the open, for me, is about sharing the messy process behind making the game. Normally, companies keep all those details locked away until everything's polished. That can lead to a pretty massive disconnect between the studio.
Literally, that's like his house, I think. That's probably like one of the rooms in his house.
And the fans and expectations. Our approach, just show it. The sketches, the bugs, half-finished features, the ideas, let's just get it out there. Does this come with some risks? Sure. You do open yourself up to a lot of criticism when you show something that's not incomplete or it's janky. Sometimes it distracts you from actually building the thing that you're trying to make because you're talking about building it instead. But the benefits are huge. We get immediate feedback from people just like you who genuinely care about what we're building.
Okay, hold on. I don't really agree with this. I know you guys may have a different opinion on this thing, but like I feel like this is good. Man, this is a tough one because like as a creator, you don't want if too many cooks spoil the broth. That's like a big thing, right? Too many cooks spoil the broth. That's a big old philosophy. And so I feel like when everyone's trying to cook this broth that they're making of a video game, maybe sometimes I feel like the original like vision of the game gets lost into appeasing your audience, right? And I think, like I said before, there has to be a balance, because if you don't balance this out, you're just gonna get like some weirdo soup. Like, remember, a game for everyone is a game for no one, right? We've talked about this before. A game for everyone is a game from no one. So you're trying to appease everybody, you're gonna end up upsetting everyone. So that's why you have to be careful with this a little bit more.
And if you're hanging out on our Discord, you can see kind of how that direct feedback can shape certain features.
And so the reason why I bring this up, I just remembered I helped with I think Blue remembers this. So I did do a user feedback for Fights in Tight Spaces. You guys know I played that game a lot. I think Blue Riot Bot, like if you're still in the chat, you know I played that game a lot on stream. And I even helped like in early access. I was in the Discord just like this, right? And I said, hey, some of these things I'm gonna recommend to make this game a little bit better. And then some of the things I said, like one of the things I said in Fights in Tight Spaces in the early access, I said there's really no impact when you hit people like in the game. So like maybe have the screen shake a little bit more when you do these hits, right? And they did add it, right? And then here's the part where I'm like, I think it's good that somebody checked me on this, because in that same thread, as when after they added that feature, like one of the features they added that I really requested the most is having like if you're about to beat the level, hit the last guy to win. I wanted to do a slow motion to kind of like, oh, it's the last hit, right? And to kind of give you that feel, right? And some people in chat were like, hey, yeah, we like this, but it's happening way too much. Can you tone it down? Or like, can you make some edits to it? And I was like, okay, like I see where you're coming from. And they did tone it down, but it was still there, right? You know, so like I felt heard that they listened to me, but it wasn't like obstructing the game, because it technically was. It was like, so it's too slow. The way the ragdoll animation hit the floor, we're like waiting for this animation to finish because it's in slow motion, right? So they balanced it in a way where it didn't feel that it was slow, right? But it wasn't 100% what I asked for. It's like I asked for it, they gave me what I asked for, and other gamers didn't like it, and they helped fix it. So it's like, yeah, so there is some merit to that, you know, because even I was satisfied with the changes that the others recommended that didn't agree with me 100%, right? And I felt like I contributed to the quality of this game. So I get where they're coming from on this, like 100%. Like I think it's cool, but they just got to be careful with this, because like, you know, maybe they have a certain vision for a character, but then all the people hate the characters and they're just changing the character to appease the gamers, when like in philosophy they had a reason why they built it that way, and maybe we haven't really seen it yet. You know, it's like we have to like take a second look at it before we change it. And that's kind of what I mean by that, is like we need to like let it marinate for a bit, and then maybe they can change it. I know that sounds crazy, because like you can't change like a character like later on in the game. It has to be before the game comes out. And I understand that, but it's just kind of a warning as a creator. Like you got to be careful with this specific thing. You can't like listen to me too much, right? And you can't like 100% not listen to me also. So, and yeah, that's pretty much Jagos. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Systems
you have to balance it
and
out.
really build a collaboration that's in motion. I'm a firm believer that sharing these moments builds deeper trust than any marketing trailer ever could.
Yeah, I agree with him.
That brings me to our core loop. So I really want to talk about the foundation of our gameplay, which is the core loop. Basically, it's the heartbeat of any game. It's what the player does repeatedly that's fun, challenging, and rewarding. It doesn't matter how a game looks, doesn't matter the graphics, the sound, the details, the creativity, the story. None of that matters.
It does matter, but not to an extent what he's saying. But the reason for this is we love Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. The way it plays, it just looks like dog crap.
Except for the core loop, it has to be fun. So early on, I had lots of grand
ideas. He's right. He's
actually
right.
It quickly became clear that we really needed to pin down the absolute basics first and get them right. So for our game, the loop revolves around exploration, combat, and narrative discovery. You enter a zone, you encounter threats, you engage in battles strategically based on how you want to, and then you can uncover story elements that will push you forward. Rinse and repeat. But the rinse and repeat doesn't mean that it's boring. The entire experience needs to evolve each time you cycle through the loop. It gets a little different. New enemy behaviors, dynamic world events, new weaponry, new abilities, deeper story hooks. We are laser focused in fleshing out that loop right now. If we get it right, then everything else, like advanced features, expansions, all that becomes exponentially easier to build on. But if we get it wrong, no amount of fancy visual effects or story is going to save us.
Correct.
So what's critical now is really setting up our artistic benchmark. Art is one of those things that you really just can't fake. Either you invest in it properly, or your game ends up looking like half-baked or just like everything else that's out there. We decided early that we can create a visual benchmark. So basically, it's a single scene or a vertical slice or just an area that represents the quality that we want throughout the entire game. This is tricky because a lot of stuff in Unreal Engine looks the same, and a lot of people are going for hyper-realism, crazy detail, and in the end, it's like a painting, right? If you check out like an oil painting or an artist that you really like, great paintings are the omission of detail. It's when the brain connects them. That's what creates something really unique. And there are some companies that have nailed that in their own way. You can tell a Blizzard game by the Blizzard art style. It's very iconic. That doesn't mean that that's the style we're going to emulate, but it does mean that we do need to find something that we can sink our teeth into that can become representative of Red 16. We're taking top tier concept artists, polished 3D models, lighting, textures, all into a cohesive atmosphere. So nothing kills immersion faster than seeing inconsistent styles from one area to the next. Our approach is to get it right once and then replicate that standard across all environments, characters, and assets. This benchmark is also a tool for our team. Everyone knows what we're aiming for, so we don't waste time reworking art just because it doesn't look good or we don't like the feel or something like that. It has to be our internal North Star, and it's saving us a lot of headaches already. Speaking of which, to avoid the headaches, we really need to hire the proper core team. Now, as you know, I'm not a one-man army. This team is the reason why any of this is possible. So over the last few months, we have been assembling our core group of programmers, artists, level designers, and narrative specialists, you name it. The criteria is simple. You must have talent, you must have passion, and you must have experience that aligns with our studio's culture. The mantra is, if you don't love what you're building, then this probably isn't the right place for you.
Yeah, Andre, like a lot of the, I'm in the belief that publisher versus developer are never see eye to eye on anything. So what happens is like the publisher tells like the project manager or whoever, I don't know the structure really. Nick would know more than I do. They would probably go to the dev team and say, hey, we need you guys to make a game, right? And what's hot right now is A, B, C, D. And I need you guys to put A, B, C, D in the game, right? Sad dad story with like, you know, you take care of like another weaker character that's escort the game, right? We need DLC. We need, X, all these requirements that need to be in this game because that's what is what they read on like reports and like what's selling right now. So we need all these things in this game. This is why I feel like when you guys said all these games are the same, because that's what they're doing. Why was this game successful? A, B, C, D, right? So they're making another game, putting A, B, C, D in the game, and this is why AAA games are safe, because you got to have this. This is something that our investors want, and this is the formula that works until it doesn't work. So if they pretty much beat a dead horse until like they can't get anything out of it anymore, right? So yeah, you're right on that.
That might
That's
sound
what you're
a little
feeling.
harsh, but it's crucial for a small, tight-knit studio. This only works if the people making the games love the game they're making and love what they do. That's it. That's how you know it's going to work. So we don't really have room for people who think this is just another gig or trying to collect a paycheck, or they're just trying to get their foot in their door, but they don't really have a lot of experience. It's just not the right fit. We need folks who are genuinely excited to bring this world to life, because that energy shows up in everything that they do. So we've turned away some pretty qualified people already because they just didn't get with our ethos. At the same time, we've taken chances on people that have less experience but have ridiculous amounts of passion. And so far that is paying off in spades. It is a tough but necessary balancing act.
Yeah, it is. I was about to critique him, but I'm glad he said it is a tough and necessary balancing act, because passion does not make a game good if they have no talent to make said game. Like, I can say I have the passion to make video games, but I don't know dick about 3D modeling. But your game should be like this, right? I can be asking for something unrealistic that's not possible with their budget, stuff like that. So I think this is why you still need experience, and yeah, you do need to balance it out for sure. Not everyone's gonna be like, super qualified. Not everyone's gonna be perfect for the job. It's just you're finding the best fit, right? The best fit for the situation you're in.
So what are some of the biggest challenges faced so far? I'd say the elephant in the room is that this is not all sunshine and progress updates. We have had our fair share of challenges. Scope creep, everyone has to deal with. So it doesn't matter. Every new idea sounds incredible when you first hear it, but then saying yes to everything.
This was that lady that did Gears of War. Like, she was a project manager for Gears of War, like Laura something, I can't remember, but I watched her videos that she got introduced to me by side scrollers, and she was talking about how like when they were making from Gears of War 1 to Gears of War 2, everybody had all these ideas, but they didn't have enough time to implement all those ideas. And so it's like, yeah, that'd be great. We'll add it, but you want this game in December. It's October. Like we can't do that. It's not possible. So, and I think that's what he's talking about.
Means you have to say no to other things. It can also derail the time and timing and budget and resources needed that were already set to refine other things too. So we've really had to learn the art of saying no or not yet.
Yeah.
And so that's why our backlog keeps growing,
DLC.
but it's great because we don't have a shortage of ideas. Another thing, remote collaboration is really tricky. Our teams spread across multiple time zones, multiple continents and countries. So
No China. I just didn't realize that.
Scheduling communication and ensuring that everyone's on the same page, working diligently, remotely, can be a juggling act. So sure, tools like Slack help.
That's tough, man, because like if I'm not in the same room in a creative like project, things can get misinterpreted, or like just miscommunicated. Like that's tough. So props to these guys for making it happen.
Workspace and those things, but it's still a hurdle, and it takes the right kind of person with the right kind of discipline to make everything connect. And then of course the financial pressure is a growing challenge. Games cost a lot of money. Surprise. Balancing the need to pay people as fairly as possible with a really finite budget and resources, especially when you're not making any money. That's the biggest challenge, right? Games take millions to make, the good ones, right? Indie games, right, take less even, but that's still tens of thousands.
Okay, so I'm not a game dev, but I talked about this a lot on the channel, right? I think a part of it is like, did you choose an engine that's hard and expensive? Did you like these like choices that you decide to put, or even art direction? Like, okay, 3D games, are they more expensive than 2D games, right? Like it's stuff like that. I feel like is what makes things over budget and stuff that seems incomplete, because what he talked about earlier is scope, right? Scope is important to have realistic goals. Otherwise you're just putting in more fat into your game and there's no substance to it. So,
in that sense, to make a decent one, like you have to put all that money up, you have to build the whole thing, and then you have to sell it, and you can't sell it ahead of time, God forbid, pre-orders, all of that stuff. It is a balancing act. It's really tricky. And so, but if it was easy, everyone would do it. And that's why we're looking at it. So what are our biggest lessons? Well, challenges aside, there have been some pretty good takeaways in the last year of development. So first, always focus on the core. We need to decide what's absolutely crucial, and that's player experience. And we need to pour all of our energy there. Everything else has to be secondary to that. We also need value-driven team building. So hiring people who really care about the project vision ends up being more valuable than any kind of resume, any kind of experience that people have. You need a cohesive, passionate team to beat, basically, it will beat like, you think of like a Pro Bowl team, never does as good as the actual team that gets to the Super Bowl. Like we need a cohesive and passionate team that is really working together and are aligned.
Yeah. No divas.
And then obviously transparent communication. That's been a huge learning for us too. So building out in the open has taught some humility. It puts a target on our back. Nobody likes when you just say what you're going to do. They like you to just do it. So I understand that, but we are building an audience while we do this, and that's okay. We own our mistakes and we share the journey. It fosters a stronger connection. Also allows us to make some really cool stuff, and then keep adapting and evolving. So the refinement comes over time and practice and tweaking. You don't get everything right just on one sprint. So if something's not working, we're not afraid to pivot. That rigidity, sometimes rigidity will kill creativity. So we need to be careful. So that's where we stand right now. We're pushing hard to solidify our core loop. We're setting our art benchmark. We're forging a culture first team that's all in on this project. It's been chaotic, it's challenging, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I appreciate everyone who stuck around to follow this journey. Your feedback, especially for a studio that's just beginning and out in the open now, really does shape everything we do. So please keep it coming. And if you want to dive deeper, join our Discord or watch our previous devlogs. We're definitely not done learning. 2025 has just begun for us, and we are sinking our teeth in full on. We are definitely not done sharing all the great stuff that we're working on. Thanks for hanging out. Stay tuned. There is a lot more to come. Thanks for watching. Let's keep building something awesome together. We build openly, we build honestly.
See you on the next one.
And here's the thing: there's a reason why that works for these guys, right? That works for these guys. Good video, by the way. I'm glad that like someone made a video like that because I feel like a lot of gamers need to understand how how difficult making a video game is. It's not easy, very expensive. And matter of fact, that if he's only spending $1 million in a year, that's pretty good. Like he's managing that quite well. And I saw over 16 people in the staff, I think. And can you imagine dividing the pay of those people, like from $1 million? If someone's making like 60 to 80K a year, right? And there's times 15, that is a lot of money, like in the budget, right? So that's like kind of where it goes. So let's do the math here. So let's do like low ball at 60K a year. We'll do times 16 people. That's almost $1 million. That's literally $960,000, right? So that's wild. Like, so that's how expensive those things get. And then that doesn't even like include any of the other assets and resources. Those guys are probably just using their own tech, their own like, their own hardware for this stuff, right? They're not like, they're not provided by the company. So, and because they're all remote workers, so they're all using their own stuff. That's wild. That's crazy. I think it's important to have a dev talk like that. Like, for example, like even when Capcom like does like the is it Nakayuma, right? Nakayuma like talks about the dev of Street Fighter and kind of like all these other, like Kamiya does these like interviews. I love hearing what they have to say. Like what's the guy from Tekken, right? The guy from Don't Ask Me for Shit guy. Like hearing like their transparency of how honest they are when it comes to the making of these games is super important because it shines a spotlight on like how it's not just rainbows and butterflies and it's that easy, right? Heavy valence, expensive, right? They have hoops to jump, they have quotas to meet that are not even their own quotas. Like, if Namco was like, we got investors for this game, we need to put somebody from this country in this game, like Poland or something, right? So now you have to add a Polish prime minister to the game in some way or form. Like that's just the stuff that they got to deal with, and we don't know when they make these games. So I think it's important that someone like this is doing a video like that as well. Okay. We're nearing the end of the stream here, guys. It's almost 10 o'clock and kind of wanted to, dial it down. I like this segment actually. How would you guys feel if we did one of these with the boys, with Nick and Ace? Would you guys enjoy that? Or is it too many people now, or we may just well do Gaming Academy at that point, right? So it's got to be a healthy balance, healthy balance. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. And yes, keep sending me those videos. Put them in the suggestion box. Right? I like that. Reddit can be very toxic. Yeah, what's up, Andre? Another call and stream thing. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. A little quick chat, Oh yeah, you're doing it. Is that really loud? That's fun. Nah, yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah, put it in the suggestion box. That's why the suggestion box is there, guys. I put that there so we can talk about stuff in there as well. I would love that topic. Games that you didn't expect to like. And I saw you guys posted in the newsroom of like games that something about. Yeah, you missed. No, not that one. I know Harvestella. There was one here. I was like, oh, cool. Was it, or is it in the lounge? So you guys are putting in all this stuff everywhere. I don't know where to find these things anymore. There was like a list of like games that you didn't think you'd like or something like that. I saw it in here somewhere. I think it was in the newsroom. Let's see here. No, Consumer Revolt, private equity, Nintendo out of control. We know that. Stella. I can't find it. But yeah, I did see something along the lines of like games that like hitters of 2024 or something like that. I think it's here somewhere. I saw it earlier. Maybe it was the RPGs of 2024. One of those things. It's cool. Cool article about Resident Evil or Home Sweet Home. Let's see here. Let's see here. The backlog problem. Hey, we watched that video last time. Okay, there's one here about the 20 best unique turn-based RPGs you've never heard before. Like I want to cover that eventually. Like I want to watch that video with you guys. But there was another one. Was it? No. Was it? Arena. By the way, I love the fighting game news in the arena. Keep that there. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Maybe it was that one. JRPGs of 2024 or something like that. It said 2024 on it. No, it wasn't 2024 recap. It was something else. Maybe it's all the way up here, honestly. It's like I'm just like trying to be like, oh, I know I've seen it. I'm not crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of topics. The ones you want me to cover, put them in the suggestion box. Otherwise, just put them in the newsroom, put them in the lounge. Newsroom would be good if it's about news, games. Lounge is like just regular, just stuff you want us to show. But newsroom would be like handy if it was like news related to games. So, but yeah, that is another stream for Let's Watch. I'm really loving this segment, and tonight, of course, we showed the world that if we come together, these companies will listen to us. We cost Xbox, Microsoft $300 million by showing them, hey, I don't agree with what you're doing, so I'm canceling, right? We need more people to step up like that and be courageous and say, hey, I draw the line. You raise my Xbox price, you raise my monthly. I can now not afford it, even though it's only $20 more or whatever. That's $20 I could be having a meal from. Like, voting with your wallet is the number one way to show these guys you mean it. We're serious, right? And we're not going to deal with it. So remember, keep your passion lit bright. We all level up together. We all fail together. Keep contributing, keep creating, keep showing up for each other, and let these companies know where you stand. Like by giving them support, by not giving them support. Like that's important. That is your voice in this industry, guys. So what's next here? So this weekend, no D&D. We may do another stream on another game, maybe Vampire, because like we still got to do AZD gaming challenge. I did play Xeno Crisis a little bit last week, and I was having a blast with it. It's hard, and I kind of like it. It's fun. It's a good little arcade shooter. And I loved it. I played it with a controller. I had a blast for the time I had playing with it. I recently just got back into Helldivers 2. In October 17th, I'm jumping back on Tekken 8 because Armor King is coming back, right? And we're gonna learn Armor King. We're gonna learn a new character, and we're gonna go from scrub to Tekken God, and however long that takes, right? We took a couple months off, so it's gonna be rough. But we're gonna be learning Armor King because that was my backup character to Jin when I played the Tekken 7. Okay. Your bro's on the Game Friday. Awesome, man. Hey, you know what? If you can stream it, I would love to watch it. And I can watch it on stream if I have time. if time allows it. That's the only thing stopping me, guys, is time allows it. I know, like, I think Saturday I'm gonna have a barbecue with some friends, so I probably will be available Saturday night. But Friday night, if nothing's going on, I'll definitely be on Friday night to like come hang out with you guys and just chill, play some games. I'm totally cool with that. And yeah, and also like I said, jump into our Discord, keep chatting. I love it. Put stuff in that suggestion box. And one more thing, just in case y'all forgot, because I did not forget. Just know, I gotta find it. Boom. Get your school clothes before school starts again, November 7th. Buy Gamer Quotient gear at gqasiandude-shop.fourthwall.com and use code year number one for a 10% discount. Don't forget, you get a 10% discount on shirts, the hat, the mug, and the stickers, right? And you get those directly sent to you, right? This is like a paid to order kind of thing. So, and then if you want to take a picture, I'll post it on the socials if you want to represent, right? I would love that. We would love that. Let's grow the community. Tell your friends. I know some friends would want to buy it, but things are a little bit rough right now. But yeah, please, shirts, hats, mugs, stickers, and more to come. Like, I know those are like probably like the most requested items right now, and we'll get more designs as we grow in season 2 and more, right? So I just need to know people are buying stuff, like, so that way I can make more stuff. That's kind of how that works for y'all. We'll probably have we'll have specific segments too, like This Week in Gaming History, right? / Gamer Quotient, the tech, right? Or the final boss. Like, we'll probably like put those on shirts as well. Like, that's just a preview for you guys. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but that's like, I've been brainstorming, y'all. I've been brainstorming on what we should be doing for season 2. So know that I'm still working, even though I'm doing this on the side for y'all, because I love you guys. But with that said, if there's clips of the show that you guys like, please put them in Discord. Put them into the clips and screenshots. I would love to compile that, and I would love to kind of like use that as advertising for the channel, right? Because anything that you guys do help as far as clips go, so I can put it on YouTube or Twitch, so we can help grow and have a bigger community. I think a lot of my friends just don't know that I do these things, and I have to like physically tell them, like, hey, that's actually my podcast. Like, oh, well, how did you not know? My face is all over the thumbnail all the time. You guys know that I do a motivational comic every Wednesday and Sunday. And I just had somebody in my Facebook ask me, hey, is that you? Do you make that? And I'm like, yes, that's me. So part of it is probably me not being humble and not bragging about it. But also at the same time, I kind of wish that my friends knew that I did stuff like that, so they can be like, oh, cool, I want to support you, So it's a healthy balance of being humble and also marketing yourself so you can be successful and grow. So just know that for anything that you do out there. All right, guys, that is it for tonight. Appreciate you guys as always. Thanks for leveling up. And this is our new. I'll give you guys a preview. This is our new end song for season 2. Right, so that's the new end song. But for now, you guys get the awesome intro / ending. All right, so y'all have a good night. Peace.
Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Blocking uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know we just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life, cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready.
Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things.
See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know it just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes.
You're on the way to choose your type of life, cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch, the spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you back flip.
Get it on down. Select to make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it on down. Select to make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.